The reality TV world just got flipped upside down, and no one saw this coming. In a shocking turn of events, Rasheeda has come forward with jaw-dropping claims about Yandy Smith, revealing secrets so dark, even Mendeecees is questioning everything he thought he knew. According to Rasheeda, Yandy's carefully curated image is nothing but a mask, one hiding lies, manipulation, and a twisted past that could destroy not just her reputation, but her entire relationship. And the worst part, Rasheeda says she has receipts. Word on the street is that during a heated behind-the-scenes confrontation, Rasheeda confronted Yandy with old documents, hidden audio clips, and testimonies from people who claim they were silenced years ago. Fans are shocked. Some are standing by Yandy, while others are demanding answers. Mendeecees, caught in the middle, is reportedly furious, and sources close to the couple say their home has turned into a war zone. How did things spiral so fast? And what exactly is Yandy hiding that has Rasheeda ready to risk it all? This is the kind of drama that could end friendships, shatter alliances, and leave love and hip-hop never the same again. Buckle up, because what you're about to hear will change everything. It all started with a tense afternoon on set. The Love and Hip Hop crew was wrapping up a group shoot in Atlanta, and most of the cast thought the day was winding down peacefully. But Rasheeda, who had been oddly quiet throughout the shoot, was holding on to something she couldn't ignore any longer. She had spent weeks hearing whispers, putting together pieces of a puzzle that pointed directly at Yandy. And that afternoon, she decided enough was enough. The cameras were still rolling when she finally broke her silence. Standing up mid-scene, she looked directly at Yandy and said, "You've been lying to everyone, especially to Mendeecees, and I'm tired of covering for you." The room fell into silence. Even Kirk, who had been arguing with young Jock earlier, stopped mid-sentence and turned to look at the two women. Yandy blinked, caught off guard, and tried to play it cool. "Girl, what are you even talking about?" she said, laughing nervously. But Rasheeda wasn't backing down. Her voice didn't shake. "You know what I'm talking about. You lied about your past. You lied about who you really are. And I got the proof." Mendeecees, who had been lounging on the couch a few feet away, stood up slowly. His face changed. It was no longer amused or indifferent. There was confusion, but also something else, concern. Yandy turned to him, trying to stay composed. "Don't listen to this mess," she said. "She's just trying to stir things up because her own life's a mess right now." But the damage had been done. Everyone in the room was on edge, waiting for what Rasheeda would say next. "You think I would risk everything to start drama?" Rasheeda said, "No, I risked everything by staying quiet. You told Mendeecees that you built everything from the ground up, that you never needed anyone's help. But that's not true, is it? What about the charges that were sealed? What about that old management company you used to work for before you got on TV, the one that shut down after a huge fraud scandal? You never mentioned that, did you?" Yandy's face dropped for a split second before she recovered. "You really out here bringing up ancient history?" she said, her voice rising. "You want to go there, Rasheeda? Because I can go there too." But Rasheeda wasn't fazed. She pulled out her phone and scrolled quickly before holding it up. "This is a voicemail from a woman who used to work with you back then. She says you helped cook the books, that you knew what was happening but pretended you didn't. She says you walked away before the feds came knocking, and then changed your whole identity like nothing ever happened." The shock in the room was real. One of the producers whispered something into a headset. Kirk looked at Mendeecees, who was staring at the floor now, rubbing his chin, clearly shaken. Young Jock muttered, "Yo, this ain't it," under his breath. Yandy stepped forward, tried to take the phone from Rasheeda, but she pulled it back quickly. "You gonna try to grab it? Go ahead, but this ain't the only thing I got." At this point, Yandy's voice broke a little. "Why are you doing this?" she asked. "You really hate me that much?" Rasheeda didn't respond at first. She looked at her for a moment and then said, "I don't hate you. I hate fake. I hate watching you manipulate people and act like you're the victim. I hate that you pretend to empower women while hiding the fact that you climbed over other women to get where you are." The room was heavy with tension. Mendeecees finally spoke. "Is any of this true?" He asked Yandy directly. She looked at him, then away, then back again. "Not like that," she said. "Yes, I worked for that company. Yes, but I left before any of that started. I didn't do anything illegal." But her voice lacked the usual confidence. She sounded cornered. Rasheeda shook her head. "Girl, you stayed until the end. Your name is in one of the audit reports. I'm not stupid." She looked at Mendeecees. "She's been lying to you, man. And you deserve better than that." Mendeecees looked away. "I need some air," he said, walking out of the scene. Cameras followed him, but he waved them away. "Not now," he said. "Turn them off." Yandy watched him go, then turned back to Rasheeda. "You really think you did something?" she asked. "You think people are gonna believe you over me?" Rasheeda replied calmly, "I don't care who they believe. The truth's out now." What no one knew was that this confrontation had been building for weeks. Rasheeda had been tipped off by someone from Yandy's past, an old friend who felt betrayed and abandoned. That friend had reached out after seeing Rasheeda break down on a recent live when she talked about how alone she felt. The friend had said, "You think Yandy's your girl? Let me tell you what she did to me." And that conversation opened a floodgate. Rasheeda had spent sleepless nights going through emails, messages, old footage, and court documents. She wasn't just angry. She was hurt. She had defended Yandy countless times, even when Kirk warned her not to get too close. And now she felt like a fool. Meanwhile, the news was spreading like wildfire. Fans on social media were already reacting to leaked footage of the fight. Hashtags like #YandyGate and #Rasheeda were trending. Some fans sided with Yandy, saying Rasheeda was just bitter and jealous. Others said Rasheeda was brave for speaking up and that Yandy had always seemed too clean for reality TV. Back at the set, Kirk approached Rasheeda quietly. "You sure about this?" he asked. "You really ready to go to war?" Rasheeda nodded slowly. "I'm done protecting fake people. If this ruins everything, so be it." Kirk didn't say anything else. He just stood by her side. Later that night, Yandy posted a cryptic message on her story. No caption, just a black screen with the words, "The devil works hard, but God works harder." Fans immediately flooded the comments. Some offered support, others demanded answers. Mendeecees, however, went completely silent. No posts, no comments, no appearances. The next day, the producers tried to get everyone back on set for a group discussion, but tensions were still too high. Mendeecees refused to be in the same room as Yandy. Rasheeda showed up, calm and collected, and told the crew she had more to say. But she wanted to do it on her terms. She wanted to go live. And that's where part one ends, on the brink of an explosive live session that could turn the entire franchise upside down. As fans and castmates brace for impact, the question remains, what else does Rasheeda know? And will Yandy finally come clean, or will she double down to protect the image she spent years building? The moment Rasheeda hit that live button, thousands of fans tuned in within seconds. Her face was calm but determined. She didn't waste time with greetings or filters. "I know a lot of y'all are confused about what happened yesterday," she began, her voice steady. "And honestly, I'm not here to clear anything up for clout. I'm here because I've been holding in the truth for too damn long." Within minutes, the comments section exploded. Hearts, shocked emojis, and rapid-fire reactions poured in as she continued. "Yandy's been hiding parts of her life for years," Rasheeda said. "Not just little stuff, not just messy stuff. I'm talking serious things that would change how you see her if you knew. And I used to think, okay, maybe she's just trying to protect her peace. But nah, she's been lying. And worse, she's been lying to people she claims to love." Her voice cracked slightly on that last word. You could feel the years of betrayal in her tone. She then started dropping details, some vague, some direct. "Remember that charity she was running a few years back?" Rasheeda asked. "Well, it wasn't registered, at least not legally. And money came in, but no one knows where it went. Ask the people who donated. Ask the moms who never got the help they were promised. Yandy kept saying she was empowering the community, but behind the scenes, it was all smoke and mirrors. People watching the live were stunned. One fan commented, "This can't be true. Not Yandy. She always looked so real." Another, "Everything," she wrote. "We need to get ahead of this." But it was already too late. The wave was moving fast, and Yandy was drowning in it. Mendeecees had also seen the live. He didn't comment, didn't react online, but he called his cousin, who had known Yandy from way back. "Did she ever tell you about the company she used to work for? Or the donations thing?" he asked. There was a long pause before the cousin answered. "Not the full story, no. Just that there was some drama and she left. But I always felt like she was hiding something." And that was the moment it hit Mendeecees. He had trusted Yandy with everything. His heart, his future, even his children. And now he didn't know if he even knew who she truly was. The next day, producers arranged a closed-door sit-down between Rasheeda, Kirk, and a couple of senior cast members to discuss what to do next. The legal team was already nervous. "If this blows up bigger, we could have sponsors backing out," one exec whispered. "We need to either rein this in or lean into it hard." The decision was made to keep the cameras rolling, but under tight control. They asked Yandy if she'd be willing to film a response scene. At first, she refused, but then she agreed under one condition: Mendeecees had to be there. So a private location was chosen. Cameras were placed discreetly, and only a few trusted crew members were present. Yandy arrived first, dressed in black, no makeup, hair pulled back. She looked tired, but not defeated. Mendeecees arrived 5 minutes later, his face unreadable. The two sat across from each other in silence for a long moment. Finally, Yandy spoke. "I'm not gonna sit here and lie to your face," she said. "Yes, I've kept parts of my past from you. Not because I wanted to trick you, but because I didn't want to relive that pain. I was young. I made stupid choices. I was trying to survive." Mendeecees didn't interrupt. He just nodded slowly. "So why not tell me before? Why let me find out like this? From Rasheeda of all people?" Yandy looked away. "Because I thought it was over. I thought it didn't matter anymore. And I knew if you found out, you'd see me differently." "You were right," Mendeecees said softly. "I do see you differently now." Those words hit hard. Yandy's eyes filled with tears. "Does that mean you don't love me anymore?" she asked. Mendeecees didn't answer right away. Instead, he said, "I just need time to think, to process." And with that, he stood up and walked out again. Rasheeda, meanwhile, was getting calls from media outlets, gossip sites, blogs, even a few national networks wanted to know if she'd do interviews. "We can give you a platform to tell your side," one producer said. But Rasheeda wasn't interested in clout. She just wanted the truth out. Still, Kirk warned her, "Baby, you started something big. If you keep going, you can't take it back." And Yandy ain't the type to stay down for long. And Kirk was right. Just 2 days later, Yandy fired back. She posted a video of her own, a long, emotional confession. She didn't deny everything. Instead, she leaned into it. "Yes, I've made mistakes. I was caught up in a system that tried to swallow me whole. I did what I had to do, and I survived. I never claimed to be perfect, but I always tried to be better." She followed it with a series of screenshots, text messages between her and a woman who allegedly accused her of fraud, messages that seemed to show the woman apologizing and saying, "I just needed someone to blame." Yandy's caption read, "Don't believe everything you hear. Receipts matter." Her fans rushed to her defense. "See? She kept it real. This is what growth looks like." But others weren't so quick to forgive, especially not Mendeecees, who remained silent, his Instagram page frozen with his last post from a week ago, a picture of him and Yandy, now flooded with comments like "Blink twice if you're okay," and "She played you, bro." As for Rasheeda, she wasn't done yet. She still had more information, and she hinted at it in another live. "There's one more thing, something that even Yandy's inner circle don't know about. And when it comes out, ain't no coming back from it." The buzz around her words was immediate. Fans speculated nonstop. Was it about Mendeecees? Another man? A secret child? Something legal? Rasheeda refused to say more, not yet, but she promised it would all come to light in the next episode. And fans were ready. Social media countdown started. Everyone involved felt the weight of what had been unleashed. It wasn't just gossip anymore. It was full-on war, and the battleground wasn't just social media or tea. It was their real lives too. Yandy had gone quiet again, only sharing vague quotes on her story like, "Sometimes silence says more than words ever could, and truth doesn't mind being questioned. A lie does." Her fans were still split, unsure whether she was being noble or just avoiding the inevitable. Mendeecees, on the other hand, had been spending more time away from home. He was spotted at his cousin's house multiple times, often pacing outside or sitting alone on the porch. One neighbor even shared footage of him talking on the phone, looking visibly upset. The caption read, "Bro was going through it. Yandy really messed him up." Everyone could see the pain in his face. This wasn't just about lies, it was about betrayal from someone he trusted more than anyone. Rasheeda, meanwhile, was preparing for her next move. She had promised another bombshell, and fans were now glued to her every word, waiting for her to drop what she called the final nail. But before she could go live again, she got an unexpected call from an unknown number. When she picked up, a woman's voice said, "You don't know me, but I used to work with Yandy, and I have something you need to see." Rasheeda's stomach dropped. They met in a small cafe downtown, off camera, no glam squad, no entourage. The woman handed Rasheeda a folder filled with emails, receipts, and even voice memos. "This is from 2016, she said, "back when Yandy was running that event company. She used to hire people, never paid on time, sometimes not at all, and when folks complained, she threatened to blacklist them." Rasheeda flipped through the documents, her hands shaking slightly. This is serious. Are you willing to talk on camera?" The woman nodded. "I've been quiet too long. She ruined a lot of people." When Rasheeda returned home, Kirk was waiting. He had seen her expression and knew something big had dropped. "What happened?" he asked. She sat down and said, "It's worse than I thought. This ain't just about lying to Mendeecees. It's about using people, manipulating them, maybe even breaking laws." Kirk leaned back, rubbing his face. "You sure you want to go this far? Once you put this out, there's no peace after." Rasheeda looked him dead in the eyes. "I'm already in it, and she started this." The producers were quick to jump on it. They scheduled an emergency shoot at Rasheeda's boutique. The woman from the cafe agreed to come on camera, but only if her identity was partially protected. They blurred her face and changed her voice, but the things she said hit hard. Yandy was smart, I'll give her that, she said. She knew how to make people think she cared, like she was doing everything for the community. But behind closed doors, it was all business. No heart, just control. The clip was explosive. Once it aired, the internet blew up again. Clips of the woman's testimony spread across TikTok and Instagram. Old clients and former associates started popping up in comment sections, saying things like, "I thought I was the only one, and I still haven't been paid." One former intern even posted a long thread about how she had worked under Yandy for a year, promised a full-time position, and then ghosted when payday came around. Yandy couldn't stay silent anymore. She posted a black screen with text overlay. "There's always more than one side to a story. I'll share mine soon." Fans begged for a response. Some defended her. She probably trusted the wrong people to handle her business. Others were done. This ain't adding up anymore. Where there's smoke, Mendeecees remained quiet through all of it. But inside, he was falling apart. He started going through old emails, old conversations, trying to see if he had missed signs. He found one message from 3 years ago. A fan had warned him that Yandy wasn't who she claimed to be, and that she was using his name to clean up her image. Back then, he had laughed it off. Now, it made his stomach twist. He finally agreed to meet with Yandy, but it wasn't a warm reunion. They sat in silence for several minutes before he said, I've been trying to understand how the woman I fell in love with became the woman everyone's talking about. Yandy looked tired, defeated even. I'm still that woman, she whispered. Then why do I feel like I never knew you? He asked. Because you only saw what I wanted you to see, she admitted. But that doesn't mean I didn't love you. I didn't want my past to ruin our... Some of these women will stab you and smile. It was clear the whole cast was divided. Team Yandy, Team Rasheeda. Fans picked sides. Debates went on for hours. Even blogs started running polls. One post read, "Should Mendeecees forgive Yandy? Or is the damage done?" Then came the twist no one saw coming. Yandy's old business partner, someone who had stayed quiet for years, came forward with her own statement. I used to take the fall for a lot of decisions she made. The woman said, I believed in her, defended her when people called her fake. But after everything I've seen this week, I realize now, she used me too. The weight of those words hit Yandy hard. She posted a video late one night, eyes swollen from crying, no filters. I never claimed to be perfect, she said, but I never wanted to hurt the people around me either. I was in survival mode for most of my life. I had to hustle. I had to be the one who didn't fall apart, and maybe in the process, I lost track of who I really was. The video ended with a simple line, I'm sorry, to everyone I let down, especially you, Mendeecees. Rasheeda saw the video too. She watched it all the way through, then whispered to herself, too little, too late. But deep down, something in her shifted. This wasn't about destroying Yandy anymore. It was about the truth. And whether people chose to forgive or not, that wasn't up to her anymore. Still, the storm wasn't over. Producers had one final request. They wanted Rasheeda and Yandy to sit down together. On camera, face to face, no filters, no scripts, just raw, real emotion. Everyone knew it would be explosive, but no one knew just how far it would go once those cameras started rolling. The set was quiet, too quiet. Cameras were in place, mics clipped on, and producers standing by, holding their breath. This was the moment everyone had been waiting for. Rasheeda and Yandy, face to face. The tension was thick. You could feel it in the air. Not a single word had been exchanged between them yet, not even a greeting. They just sat across from each other, eyes locked, 1,000 unsaid things between them. Finally, the director gave the cue. The camera started rolling. Rasheeda broke the silence first. I didn't want it to come to this, she said, her voice low but steady. But you left me no choice. Yandy didn't blink. No choice? You went after me like I was your enemy, like I didn't have a heart, like I was just some villain in your little story. Rasheeda leaned forward. Then tell me why you lied. Not just to me, not just to the public, but to Mendeecees. Yandy's jaw tightened. She took a deep breath. I didn't lie to hurt him. I lied because I was scared. Scared that if the truth came out, everything we built would crumble. Rasheeda shook her head. But it crumbled anyway, didn't it? Not because of the truth, but because of the lies. Yandy looked down, her hands fidgeting in her lap. I grew up watching people lose everything because of one mistake. I promised myself I'd never be that person. I built this brand, this name, from nothing. I made myself into someone people looked up to. And when my past started knocking, I panicked. Rasheeda's eyes narrowed. So you let people think you were better than you are. You let him believe you were something you're not. Yandy's voice cracked. I believed it too, for a while. There was a long pause. Off camera, producers exchanged looks. This was deeper than they'd expected. More raw. More real. It wasn't just two women arguing. It was years of pain unraveling in real time. What about all those people you stepped on? Rasheeda asked. The interns, the vendors, the assistants who never got paid, the women who trusted you, the families that suffered. Yandy wiped her eyes. I was trying to survive. I thought I had to be ruthless to make it. I thought if I didn't keep climbing, I'd fall. Rasheeda's voice softened slightly. You didn't have to step on people to climb. You just chose to. Suddenly, Mendeecees walked onto the set. It wasn't planned. The producers hadn't told anyone. He had watched the live feed from a monitor backstage and couldn't stay away any longer. Both women turned in shock as he walked up and stood between them. "This ends now," he said. "I can't do this anymore. The lies, the pain, the drama. I've been pulled in every direction, trying to figure out who to trust. But at the end of the day, Yandy, I was trying to protect him." The three stood there for a moment, the silence speaking louder than words. Finally, Yandy walked off set, her shoulders slumped, her image shattered. Fans watching the live broadcast were stunned. Comments flooded in. Some praised Rasheeda's courage. Others sympathized with Yandy's breakdown. Mendeecees, caught in the middle, was left with a shattered heart and a blurred future. In the days that followed, Yandy disappeared from social media. Her pages went dark. Her website shut down. Rumors swirled that she had checked into a retreat to rediscover herself. Others said she had fled the city entirely, needing space to heal from the fallout. Rasheeda, meanwhile, tried to return to normal life, but the drama still followed her. Some fans accused her of going too far. Others hailed her as the only one brave enough to stand up to someone untouchable. Interviews poured in, podcast invites, talk show requests, but she turned most of them down. "I've said what I needed to say," she told Kirk. "Now let people decide what they believe." Kirk, who had stayed quiet through most of the chaos, finally spoke up one night while they were lying in bed. "I'm proud of you," he said, "not because you exposed her, but because you stood up for what's right." Rasheeda looked at the ceiling. "I just hope Mendeecees finds peace. He deserves it." Meanwhile, Mendeecees had started therapy, not just for what happened, but for everything he'd been carrying for years. The betrayal, the pressure, the spotlight, it had all taken a toll. In one session, he admitted something that surprised even him. "Maybe I stayed with Yandy because I was afraid to start over, because I thought no one else would love me like she did, even if it was all built on lies." His therapist nodded. "Sometimes love and fear look the same. It's not until we're forced to choose that we see the difference." 1 week later, a handwritten letter arrived at Mendeecees' doorstep. No return address. Inside, it simply said, "I'm sorry. I hope one day you can forgive me. Not for me, for you." He didn't know if it was from Yandy. The handwriting looked like hers, but there was no signature. Still, he placed it in a drawer next to their old wedding photo, a reminder of what was and what would never be again. The final scenes of the season aired a few days later. Producers had crafted it carefully. The showdown, the fallout, the heartbreak. Fans watched with tears, gasps, and heated opinions. Ratings hit an all-time high. Blogs called it the most powerful episode in the franchise's history. Headlines read, "Rasheeda ends Yandy's reign, Mendeecees breaks down in final episode, and truth wins, but at what cost?" But behind the cameras, behind the edits, the story wasn't really over. It never really is. People change, people grow, but scars remain. And for Yandy, Rasheeda, and Mendeecees, the wounds were still fresh. Reminders of how love, ambition, and truth can all collide in the most unexpected, unforgettable ways. So what do you think, fam? Did Rasheeda do the right thing by exposing Yandy's secrets? Or did she cross a line that should have never been touched? This drama has fans completely divided. Some are calling Rasheeda brave. Others say Yandy was just trying to protect herself. And Mendeecees, stuck in the middle with his heart shattered and his future unclear. This whole situation proves that in the world of fame, loyalty, and reality TV, the truth always finds a way to come out, even if it destroys everything in its path. But here's the real question. Is this the end for Yandy and Mendeecees? Can trust ever be rebuilt after a betrayal this deep? And will Rasheeda face any backlash for being the one to light the match that set everything on fire? Only time will tell, but one thing's for sure, fans won't forget this moment anytime soon. We want to hear from you. Whose side are you on? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Are you Team Rasheeda, Team Yandy, or Team Mendeecees? Let us know how you feel about everything that went down. Don't forget to like this video if the drama kept you hooked, and hit that subscribe button because there's way more coming. This was just one chapter in a messy, emotional saga that's far from over. Turn on those notifications so you don't miss what happens next. Because if you think this was explosive, just wait till you see what we've got coming next. Stay tuned, stay messy, and stay watching. Because when it comes to love and hip-hop, the tea never